Hey everybody, I heard ESPN Booger McFarlane's really heartfelt complaint about modern black athletes in the NFL, how they are married to Instagram and how many followers they get. And that's been the case for a number of people. For example, Dwayne Haskins, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, then this goes on and on and on. But where I think Booger McFarlane is wrong is in placing the blame squarely and singularly at the athletes. These athletes have contracts with and represent teams within the National Football League. So wherever they go, they represent the NFL brand. And even if they go out and come back in or try to as free agents, they're still representing the NFL brand because they have a name attached to a team within the league. So what has to happen ultimately is the responsibility for the behavior of the player is with the team. The team employs the player. The team should have a morals clause attached to each player's contract, but also the team should have, and the NFL should have, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, a kind of bureaucratic infrastructure that guides how players are supposed to behave. They have one, for example, with respect to how players play on the field. But the NFL doesn't have a set of rules for how players conduct themselves off the field. And this is something that is absolutely necessary when you're talking about not really men, but young men, more the age, in some cases, of boys than men. And that will be particularly true when you have a underclassman that tries to come out who is but 20 or 19 years old, 20 years old, excuse me. That is young. There's a possibility that a quarterback from North Dakota State will be drafted next year who is but 20 years old and left during his sophomore year. So you're going to bring a person into the league or into society with $1 million, several $1 million signing bonus check. And then, voila, you're going to say, hey, fend for yourself after having a period where the agent is essentially managing that person before they get into the league. That doesn't make any sense. I remember when Tim Couch was the possible first-round pick of the Cleveland Browns. He hadn't even been drafted yet. And me and my friend Kofi Bonner, who was then Chief Administrative Officer, were here in Atlanta for what was my first Super Bowl. But they were going to draft him, and Couch had, and Kofi was pointing out to me, a person in front, a person in back, quite literally protecting him. They were essentially managing what was going to be their investment. The NFL must have an infrastructure to manage its investments after the draft. Putting them in some sort of, rookie symposium is not enough. They need mentorship from, and I think this is the best way to do it, legends of the game, paid mentors, and people who can go with them, and even special houses they can go to, special numbers they can call if they think that they are too intoxicated someplace and need a ride and they're in an NFL city. The NFL has to take this seriously. This can't be just foisted off as a black problem. I think that was clumsy what Anthony did, as much as it was heartfelt. Just because the NFL gives you a lot of money doesn't mean that you should have the freedom to act up. And that's essentially what McFarlane is still advocating in a sense. Players are too young to police themselves. They need help. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com.